Imagine telling a friend that you have spent over $1,300 on a video game. Most people would probably be surprised, but this is actually the case with The Sims 4, given that you want all the add-ons. How did we get here? The previous Sims games were incredibly successful in their time. Released in 2000, the first Sims game was so fresh, innovative, and revolutionary that it created an entirely new genre, winning the hearts of millions worldwide. Since the OG Sims achieved much greater success than expected, players demanded more content. As a result, Maxis and Electronic Arts quickly started making expansion packs. The first pack was released in just over 6 months after the original game launched. It was a great success, so they released more. In total, the game received 7 expansion packs, each introducing new gameplay mechanics, objects, and simulation systems. And it was a lot, but at the same time, that was exactly what the fans wanted to buy. After The Sims 2 was released in 2004, it didn't take long before it broke new records. With 1 million copies sold only in the US market in the first 10 days, it made some real noise. It was soon regarded as one of the greatest video games ever made. It's no surprise considering Maxis demonstrated remarkable progress in simulation development, bringing life to a true 3D world in The Sims 2. And apart from transitioning to 3D, players could give their Sims more personality by choosing aspirations which influence their wants and fears. Building game mechanics also improved significantly, and the game itself was incredibly engaging and detailed. The Sims 2 also introduced cutscenes, which appeared after significant events and varied depending on the character's life. Every pre-made character had a unique backstory and lore, and the game was packed with Easter eggs and hidden depth. By the way, this time developers released 8 expansion packs along with add-ons called Staff Packs, which introduced new objects and clothing. There were 10 staff packs in total for Sims 2. The Sims 3 launched in 2009, once again achieving commercial success at release, selling 1.4 million copies in its first week. It was also hailed as one of the greatest video games ever made. The revolutionary feature this time was the introduction of an open world. Character creation and building received an unprecedented level of customization. The color wheel from this game remains legendary in the franchise. Sims also gained even more depth through traits, allowing for a broader range of unique personalities, lifetime wishes, and changes in their behavior. This time the game had a whopping 11 expansion packs and 9 staff packs. While some players felt this was excessive, the overall expansion model remained consistent with the franchise's past. Then, in 2014, after some problematic game launches from the studio, The Sims 4 was released. However, this time its launch did not go as smoothly as it did before. Notably, the previous Sims games were mostly sold as physical copies, while The Sims 4 was the first in the series to actively embrace digital sales. With the franchise's reputation and the shift to digital sales, this should have set Sims 4 up for commercial success, yet it didn't. The Create a Sim mod was met with mixed reactions. On one hand, the introduction of sliders for customization was an amazing addition. However, the beloved color wheel was removed and the selection of preset colors was only slightly better than in The Sims 2. Additionally, the number of available personality traits was reduced to 3 per sim, compared to 5 in The Sims 3, and the selection felt severely limited. Once players entered the world, disappointment followed. Players could no longer place slots freely on the map. Instead, they were pre-assigned to specific places with specific sizes. Number of lots on the map was limited, and with a semi-open neighborhood design, you can only see what's going on in your neighborhood. Built-in mode was one of the strongest features at launch, but the base game lacked a variety of objects for both interior and exterior design. Notably, even swimming pools were missing at launch. But from the moment players started playing, they noticed not only the lack of pools, but also the absence of many core features present in the previous games. After just a few hours of gameplay, players were feeling bored as it became evident that the game's primary selling point, emotions, did not add significant depth to the Sims' personalities. Pre-made towny Sims felt empty and dull. It was obvious that The Sims 4 was not ready for release. Over time, updates gradually improved the base game. However, EA and Maxis focused more on creating new DLCs rather than refining the core experience. 6 months after launch, DLCs began rolling out. This time, expansions were divided into expansion packs, offering major mechanics and content, and game packs, smaller content packs. While this added more depth to the game, they contained noticeably less content compared to the equivalent packs from The Sims 1, 2, and 3. Staff packs also returned, but felt incomplete and stripped of meaningful content. They felt shallow. Then, in 2021, EA introduced a new type of DLC called kits. The key difference from the staff packs is that each kit focused exclusively on either furniture or clothing. With the help of EA at that point, the community started to call The Sims 4 the most cash grabber compared to the other parts. Around the same time, fans realized that The Sims 5 was not coming anytime soon. Much of the content from the previous games had yet to be released in The Sims 4, and players were stuck with this version for several more years. As for the quality of the DLCs themselves, there's much to be said. At the beginning of The Sims 4's lifespan, players forgave many shortcomings in expansions, a strange paradox. If any other game had such controversial releases, it would have been abandoned long ago by its fans. But due to its monopoly in the life simulation genre, The Sims 4 forced fans to pay ridiculous amounts of money while tolerating unacceptable quality of their products. Due to mounting community frustration, EA finally started improving the base game more actively and even revisited older DLCs to fix major bugs. And the quality of new DLCs was getting better and better every time. It appeared that EA had finally started listening to the community. The fan base welcomed these efforts and continued supporting the franchise. However, the sheer number of DLCs made The Sims 4 grow into something enormous, unlike anything seen before in the gaming world. In summary, the core problem with The Sims 4 DLCs is the extreme fragmentation of the content into tiny, overpriced, underdeveloped pieces. Players are forced to pay a premium for what should have been a part of the base game or larger expansions. And yet, despite all these issues, The Sims 4 remains a financial juggernaut, but at what cost to its fans? As for now, The Sims 4 has 18 expansion packs, 12 game packs, 20 staff packs, 40 kits, including 4 creator kits. And it looks like this is far from the end. They'll most likely keep releasing more. So let's calculate how much all the currently released DLCs cost. The base game is now free, though it used to cost money, but we won't include it into our calculations. We will also not take into account any discounts or sales. The usual prices are expansion packs $39.99 per unit, game packs $19.99 per unit, staff packs $9.99 per unit, kits $4.99 per unit. Now let's do the math. The total cost for expansion packs is going to be $719.82, for game packs $239.88, for staff packs $199.80, and for kits $199.60. So the total cost is $1,359.10. Whoa! For that amount of money, you could buy a lot of games instead of just one, just to make it feel complete. For comparison, here's what the pricing looked like for the previous Sims games. The Sims franchise has captivated players for years, but how did The Sims 4 survive after all the criticism? Besides the aesthetics, which is truly one of the best in the game series, there are a few reasons. First, paradoxically, this is probably the first Sims game where players can go years without actually engaging in gameplay. The Sims community has divided into different play styles. Cast players, those who create characters, builder players, those who primarily build, and game players, those who actually engage in the gameplay. Most players are a mix of these types, but there is a percentage of people who have never even touched the gameplay in The Sims 4. Second, The Sims 4 community popularized player-created challenges to make the game more interesting. These challenges resonate with all three player types and have likely helped keep the game from feeling completely dull. Ideally, though, players shouldn't have to search for external challenges. The game should provide them. People should be interested in exploring the game, but not get bored in a couple of hours. I know Max's introduced scenarios, but they weren't there from the start, and even now, they only occasionally help break the monotony. Third, modders save the game. Everything Max has failed to refine is often fixed by the modding community, and sometimes mods are far more interesting than the official DLCs. And last but not least, content creators have played a big role in helping The Sims 4 survive criticism. There's nothing more convincing than a favorite creator praising the game. Those who partnered with EA receive DLCs for free. DLCs most players have to buy. They also earn from sales when players use their creator codes. So, if the game is expensive, incomplete, and is constantly trying to milk players for more money, why do we still buy it? Simple. The Sims 4 has been a monopoly for many years after its launch. When a company has no competition, it can do whatever it wants, and EA did exactly that. With no alternatives, fans who want to play legally end up spending ridiculous amounts of money, forgiving The Sims 4 flaws while it continues to exploit the reputation, legacy of its predecessors, and overall love for simulation games and The Sims franchise in general. The planned launches of other live simulation games were certainly affecting EA's willingness to improve the game and extensions. Meanwhile, many fans returned to playing The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 and exploring new alternatives.